out of oppression. The mother was being oppressed as at that moment. Now, that's another one. Subhanallah. People will even name the child after the circumstance of conceiving that child. Subhanallah. Yeah, Adelaja. That means the child came and settled quarrel. Excuse me. Innocent child. You even made him to know that, look, we were quarreling before you were born. Some children, is because of the pregnancy that they allowed the mother to stay. They will like chase her away. Take, like they say. But you see, Ibrahim remembered and said, Rabbi habli min as-salihin. He asked and he prayed for a designer child. He said, Rabbi habli min as-salihin fabasharna bi ghulamin halim. Allah said, and I gave to him a child, gave him a good news of a child that is halim, that is mild, that is gentle, that is calm. I'm sure it was not with quarrel that he grabbed the mother. Some people will sleep with their spouses like animals. And when they give birth to creatures that comes like humans, but actually has the psyche of animals. Sorry, I'm exaggerating. I don't mean to say that about anybody's child. But what I observe is that some circumstances lead to some things. If you are a Muslim and you believe in prayer, I want you to make that dua even before that child comes. And we learned that from Ibrahim, and Ibrahim did not regret it. Mr. and Mrs. Ibrahim, they did not regret it. Look at this child Ismail that they had first. At a point when Ibrahim saw the child grown up, he said, oh my son, inni ara fil manami anni adbahuk. I can imagine that kind of discussion, father and son. They sat down together and they were discussing. And he wanted to seek his advice. He said, my son, I saw in my dream that I am supposed to slaughter you. Fanzuru mother Taro. What's your opinion about this? Qala, he said, oh my father, if alma tu'mar, go ahead and carry out what you have been instructed to do. Satajiduni inshallah min as-sabirin. Inshallah, I'm going to cooperate with you in anything Allah asks you to do. That was a designer child. But mind you, where is the mother? He took the kind of mother that, what was her name? Hajara was, to have been able to give birth to this kind of a child. Look at it very well. It takes two. It has to take a righteous mother in combination with a righteous father to have been able to produce this one. And especially the dua part of it. Don't take chances in anything. If you're a believer, you're a believer. If you believe in prayer, believe in prayer. Make your prayers and set your mind in it. Pray with your emotions, with your feelings, with what you want and what you need from Almighty Allah. Pray and express it to the universe, so to speak, so that a good child will be manifested into your life. Your mindset and your feelings and your emotion at the time of conception, we may not have scientific proof for it, but we believe strongly that it works in shaping the character of that child you are going to give birth to. When the mother is pregnant in the womb, now look at it, make a projection. Now the father prayed even before they met. When the pregnancy comes, this pregnancy was not treated as something unwanted. This pregnancy was taken, was accepted, and I'm sure the mother was well taken care of. There are some nutritions, apart from the physiological thing, there are the mental nutrition, so to speak, for a woman that is pregnant, so that the child will not come out becoming something else. And Allah knows best. Let's quickly move to another parent now. Are you with me? Let's go to Mr. and Mrs. Yaqub. In Quran chapter, I think Surah you see in Surah Al-Baqarah something about them, and then you see Surah Yusuf itself. Mr. and Mrs. Yaqub were the ones who gave birth to Yusuf and Bunyamin. And then there were 10 others. 10 others. I want to summarize it. I would have given you most of the references. But you see that in Surah Yusuf, especially. When Allah says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ. Indeed, in the story of Yusuf, you see a lot of signs. Yusuf and his brother, signs for those who want to ask. Who want to ask about what? Who want to ask about everything, including child upbringing. Look at it this way. A prophet, Yaqub, gave birth to his child. And I believe that he gave these children the best of tarbiyah that he could. But out of the 12, 10 of them went one way and 2 of them went another way. Yusuf and Bunyamin happened to have been from another mother. The biblical people call her Rachel. That's the mother of Yusuf and Bunyamin that people call Benjamin. As for the remaining 10, their mother's name is not mentioned. But we know that whatever tarbiyah, whatever upbringing that Anabi Yaqub gave to Bunyamin and Yusuf, he also gave to those 10 as well. But this is one very strange thing, very interesting thing about how Allah does his thing. You know that Yusuf left the father's place when he was much young. And all of the experiences he had had, all of the traumas he had had, they did not destroy him. Imagine what it felt like to be thrown into the well, disappointed, betrayed by your own brothers. Imagine what it was when he was eventually brought out of the well and he was sold into something that is more or less like slavery. He didn't have the father around to guide him or to advise him or to put him through. And look at it, he had to grow with a politician. What does it mean to grow with a politician? Do you know any politician? Sorry, I'm just saying this. What does it take to grow with a politician? What are the kind of things that you learn when you grow with a politician? You can learn good and bad. If the politician is corrupt, you will learn to be corrupt. If the politician is upright, you learn to be upright. But in this case, it's the wife of that politician that was the issue. Yusuf faced his own temptations and his problems, yet Allah rescued him. Don't forget that he also went to prison. And I don't think you will be having righteous people in the prison. Somehow, he had to spend some time with criminals. And many people that you see them go to prison like that, it's not every time they come out clean. Sometimes they even get more ideas in the prison to perpetrate more crime or criminal activities. But look at Yusuf. He was there in the prison. He didn't pick their bad habits. And when he eventually came out of the prison, he came out unscathed. It is not in all cases you see that a person will grow in a very bad and harsh environment, yet the person come out as a righteous person. This was a sign for us to understand that children will be who they will be. You cannot remove them from every environment. You cannot shield them from all environments. I believe that apart from genetics, some of the things you have implanted in your child from childhood, from the age of 0 or 1 to 5 or 7, according to some experts, the personality of your child is already formed by the time they are 5 years old. And by the time they are 7, they already know what you are talking about. And the Prophet said, Murru awladakum bis salat. Command your children to make salat from 7. They may be playing all around, but by 7, you must command them to make salat. If by 10 they don't pray, then you have to chastise them. That child has been touched by shaitan. You have to beat shaitan out of the child if you have to. Because any child that grows like that and the personality is not formed well enough. Look, if you don't do that at the age of 10, the security agents will help you to do that when he becomes a grown-up. I.e., they will lock him up in prison somewhere or will find the way or discipline him in another place. Now, this is very, very spectacular for us to understand that you cannot always shield your children as they are growing, but please, when they are very small like that, the little time that Yaqub and Yusuf spent together as father and son, I believe it really shaped everything that he became, to the extent that even when he was in the palace, where he could do a lot of immoral things without anybody knowing, he still preferred to be righteous, even though the parents were not there. Even when he was in prison, he still preferred to uphold righteousness, even when there was nobody there to control him. Take note of this and learn that from Mr. and Mrs. Yaqub. Should we go ahead now? Let's see if we can rush some more. Let's go to Mr. and Mrs. Shu'aib. You know Anabi Shu'aib, the one that was sent to the people of Midian. You remember? Shu'aib did not have male children, All he had were daughters, and the Quran tells about 2 of his daughters. Do you remember that story? Yes, it was a time when they went to fetch water at somewhere far away, and Musa, it was that time that Anabi Musa was running away from the Bani Israel. You remember that story? And he got a place, he rested, and he saw these girls wanting to fetch water and wanted to assist them. He moved closer to them and said, "Can I help you? Why are you here? You are girls. Look at hefty men all around." They said, "Our father is Abana Sheikhun Kabir. Our father is old and there's no male children in our family." He said, "Okay, wait here, let me assist you." He assisted them, helped them to fetch water for their flocks in good time. And when they got back home, their father was like, "You came back so early. What happened?" They said, "We saw one man there and the man assisted us to do this." He said, "Go and bring that man." And the Quran said, فَجَاءَتُ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ. And one of these girls came walking shyly, walking with modesty. Allahu Akbar. Qalat, and she said, "Inna abi yad'uka liyajziyaka ajra ma saqaita lana." Our father wants to see you, to reward you for this help that you did for us by helping us to get water for our flocks. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar kabira, Allahu Akbar kabira. فلما جاءه وقص عليه القصص قال لا تخف نجوت من القوم الظالمين قالت إحداهما يا أبت استأجره إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. And this girl, when he eventually got to their father, the father said, the girl said, "Oh my father, ista'jiru, hire this man. Inna khayra man ista'jarta al-qawiyyu al-amin, because the best person you can hire is al-qawiyyu, a strong man, al-amin, that's also trustworthy." This is a very long story, but I want us to understand, Allahu Akbar, I want us to understand that it so happened that the Quran took time to describe the nature of this girl. She came istihya. You will know that this is somebody who has tarbiyah, a girl that is well trained and well brought up by the parents. Though Shuaib was a prophet, Allah still helped him to bring up these children, these girls. If Allah give you only females, please work hard on them. Give them these things. I'm not talking about girls who go around roaming the street. We're not talking about girls who don't know how to talk to anyone. We're not talking about those who are harsh and brash. We're not talking about girls who, because they want to be like men, they want to do certain things that are not honorable for women to do. The nature of that description shows exactly the kind of girl that these girls were, or the kind of people that these girls were. And Almighty Allah made it to be that. There's one statement of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Allahu Akbar, when he was talking about people who had the most that sense of discernment, people who can know the right thing from the wrong thing. He mentioned 3. Number 1 is Abu Bakr Siddiq, when he was advising the Prophet to, let's pray that this Umar will come to Islam. That time Umar ibn Khattab had not accepted Islam. He said there are some good qualities in him. If this person can come into Islam, Islam will be better for it. That is, for people to see someone and say, this person has quality. There's something they call potential. Potential, you all know what it is. There are some certain potentials you can implant into your children even when they are very small. The potential to thrive, the potential to grow, the potential to achieve, the potential to fit into wherever they find themselves, the potential to do the right thing even when nobody is there. When you hold an egg and you shake it like this, you can hear some sound of some liquids inside. That liquid, that egg, is a potential cork. From an egg, you can already project what this egg is going to become. Potential. What is your child going to be? You should start by now to know, to identify, and to recognize, and to guide and to direct the child to tread that path that you have seen in him, that this child is going to be potentially a judge, potentially an engineer, potentially a doctor, potentially a great person. Another one where this potential was seen was in case of Yusuf. This is according to Ibn Mas'ud. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Quran chapter 12 verse 21. He was commenting on it when he said, Allah says, وَقَالَ الَّذِي اشْتَرَاهُ مِن مِصْرَ لِإِمْرَأَتِهِ أَكْرِمِي مَثْوَاهُ عَسَىٰ أَن يَنْفَعَنَا أَوْ نَتَّخِذَهُ وَلَدًا. That Aziz, that man that bought Yusuf, remember, he looked at Yusuf and said to his wife, he said, make him to be comfortable. This one is different from the slaves you have been buying. Other slaves who are bought, you normally take them to the farm or to some place to go and work. This one is special. This one should not work in the farm. This one should not go to the market. Let this one stay in this house with us. Akrimi Mathwahu. Make him be comfortable. Maybe he will profit us, or we shall adopt him as our son. There was that potential that Anabi Yaqub put in Yusuf, that wherever he got to, people will honor him. Wherever he got to, people will create space for him. Wherever he got to, people will make way for him. Wherever he got to, people will make him to be comfortable. These things are not by accident. Whatever the parents have done, sometimes follow some children about. There are some children that are going about with curses. There is this thing they call floating curse. If you have been coming to Binoculum very well, you hear us discuss these different types of curses. Floating curses. This one that no matter where the person goes, the curses keep floating on their head like this, following them up and down. May Allah save us from that. By virtue of what the father and mother had put forth, by virtue of some evil that some parents must have done, by virtue of some zalunchi. What's zalunchi in English? Oppression, cheating. Fathers who have cheated on the mothers, mothers who have betrayed the fathers. What's going to happen to their children? Wherever their children go, they carry some curses along with them. May Allah save us from that. Similarly, some children go about with blessings. If you bless your child will find blessing wherever they go to. All of these are parts and parcel of child upbringing, as far as Islam is concerned. And the third one was this one that we were talking about. When that girl observed Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and said, Ya Batista, I've observed this man, hire him. Inna khayra man istajarta al-qawiya. This man is strong. Not only physically, he has a strong mind, a strong heart. He can be trusted. He saw us as helpless girls. He was a fugitive. He was also helpless. Yet he helped us. He didn't cheat us. If he had wanted to make away with all of our flocks, he would have done so and nobody would challenge him. Yet he took care of us and he looked at us as an amana. This is the kind of man that you should hire. There are qualities in children that you put in them. Wherever they go to, they will be recommended. They will be recommended for good things. They will be recommended for great things. They will be recommended, and that is going to be a good thing for you too. Okay, let's go to another couple. Sorry, I'm taking your time. I just enjoy this Quran, the way the Quran does these things. The children of Dawood, Mr. and Mrs. Dawood, you remember them? They were the ones who gave birth to Suleiman, you remember? And Suleiman happened to stand out amongst all the children. Let me tell you some of the qualities of Suleiman that will make you to know why he stood out or how he stood out. It's a long story. When Suleiman was grown up, he was moving around with his cavalry, with his armies, with his troops and his friends. And they got to a place of a valley. And then at hatta idha ataw ala wadi namli. The Quran says when they got to the valley of the ants, called Namlatun, Suleiman listened and heard. He heard one ant saying, Allahu Akbar, Ya ayu an-namlu, O you ants, udkhulu masakinakum. All of you should enter into your homes, enter into your holes. La yahtimannakum Suleiman wa junudu. So that Suleiman and his army will not step on you, will not trample on you. Wahum la yash'urun, without knowing. Even the ants knew that Suleiman was not an oppressor. If they step on you, it may be by accident. It is without knowing. They will not do so deliberately. As powerful as they are, as powerful as Suleiman was, he will not oppress anyone. He will not step on even ants knowingly. When Suleiman heard of this, فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا مِنْ قَوْلِهَا, Suleiman smiled and he laughed at what this ant said. And when he laughed, he remembered something. And he called on Allah. He said, Rabbi awzini, oh Allah, I pray to you. Help me and inspire me. And ashkura ni'mataka allati an'amta alayya, so that I will continue to be grateful to you for the blessings you have done for me and the ones that you have done, and the ones you have done for my parents. This is a child, having grown up and become the king, he still remembers to thank Allah for his parents. Think about it. What kind of parents are remembered by a child that is as powerful as that? He said, not only that, he said, وَأَنْ أَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا تَرْضَاهُ, and help me to do righteous deeds with which you are going to be pleased. وَأَدْخِلْنِي بِرَحْمَتِكَ فِي عِبَادِكَ الصَّالِحِينَ, and let me be in the company of your servants that are righteous. Do you understand what that means now? These are the features of righteousness of a righteous child that's grateful to Allah and longing to be righteous like his parents. If his parents were not righteous, he would not be praying like that. In other words, it takes righteous parents to bring righteous children, no matter how powerful your children becomes in future. Now, don't rule it out. How many of you attended lecture when you were small like that baby? Now, don't rule it out. Hajjah Justice, Hajjah Salami, don't rule it out. One day, this same child should be being sworn in as the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All of us may be there. We may live long. And whether we remember or not, this child that was crying just now, Allah may make the child to get there. And so with many other children that have those potentials that we only need to discover and support it with good upbringing and prayer. Let's quickly look at one or two more couples so that we can have our lives back. Mr. and Mrs. Zakaria, you remember them? What is the name of their child? Yahya. Allahu Akbar. Do you know how Yahya came to be? Yahya happened to be another designer child. You remember what Zakaria said? Zakaria said, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar Kabira. He said, oh Allah, give me a child because I'm already old and I fear that I will die like this and nobody will inherit me. Please give me an inheritor, somebody who will inherit this office of prophethood from me. And he said, وَجَعَلُ رَبِّي رَضِيًّا, any child you are going to give to me, let that child be a child with whom you are pleased already. And so many other things that he asked Allah to do. Oh, Allahu Akbar Kabira. He said, Rabbi habli min ladunka dhurriyatan tayyibatan innaka sami'ud du'a. فنادت ملائكة وهو قائم يصلي في المحراب أن الله يبشرك بيحيى مصدقا بكلمة من الله وسيدا وحصورا ونبيا من الصالحين. Even if you don't know the meaning, you see me counting, these are the qualities that he already prayed for and Allah gave to him. All of these qualities gave his child. Allah says this child is Yahya khudh al-kitaba biquwwa wa ataynahu al-hukma sabiyya. When Yahya came, Allah revealed to Yahya, Allah said, hold on to the book, hold on to the book of Allah, the way your father has bequeathed it to you. And wa ataynahu al-hukma sabiyya, and Allah gave Yahya wisdom even as a small child. Wisdom as a small child. It is not only Indomie you give to a child. You give words of wisdom to a child. Don't think they are stupid. Don't think they are not wise. Don't think they are too small. Speak words of wisdom to them so that it can become part of their life. How many fathers will sit down with their children and make meaningful words to sink into their heads? How many mothers will sit their daughters down and be telling them things about life? How many? I remember, forgive me, let me use a little example of myself. I remember growing up and I will see my father talking to some people. Sometimes they'll be crying, sometimes they'll be laughing. And he will not ask me to go away. He will not say, I have visitors, go away. I will sit down there quietly, I will be looking at them. I may not understand what they were saying, but I know, okay, this one is this one's husband, this one is this one's wife. They have come to see my father, they have come to complain. What is their complaint? I didn't know. But I'll just sit down, I'll just be looking at them. I will not say a word. So whenever they have gone, I will not say, why was Mama Mariam crying? And my father will be explaining those things. Honestly, my head was still very small. I didn't After all of that one, the next thing I'll ask is, where's the money I said you should give me? I want to go and buy something. You know, after somebody says those things to you, the next thing is to ask for money to go and buy something. I was really very small. I can still remember now in my head. The time I began to realize what was happening was when a woman came and she didn't meet my father, and I was around. And she said she wanted to tell me something. I wanted to go and play because my mates were playing football at the back of the house. I wanted to go and play because we were playing before. I came to drink water so that I would go back. So she said I should sit down. Then she was explaining, complaining about her husband. She was crying. She would talk a bit, cry a bit, talk a bit, cry a bit. When she did all of that, I was just saying, sorry, yeah, sorry. I was just saying her sorry. After she finished all of that, she wiped her tears and then she said, when Baba comes, tell him I was here. I said, that's all I should tell him. She said, yes, just tell him I came. I said, you don't want to wait for him again? She said, no, that there's no need to wait for him again. So she went away and I also went to play my thing. Much later, I now told my father, I said, hey, Mama, somebody was here and she was saying a lot of things and she was also crying. My father said, what did you not tell her? I said, I didn't know what to tell her. I just told her sorry. And my father said, yes, that is what we were supposed to tell her. It was much later in life I realized that there was a reason why he allowed me to sit. There was a reason why he didn't push me out when those people were saying those things. I didn't realize that those experiences will form part of my life as I grew. What is it that your child is picking from you as we speak now? Apart from quarrel, apart from fight, apart from bigotry, apart from carelessness, apart from cruelty, apart from shouting. Some children have learned to shout from their parents as small as they were. A child will be outside playing with the mates in the school. The child will say, Kai, 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 Kai. When the child wants to talk, you say, Kai. What is Kai? Say it in English. What's Kai? Stop, stop, don't. These are the things the children learned, and they learn to bark at people because this is what they saw their parents do. What, brothers, what is your child learning from you now, as small as they are? What are they observing? What do they see? They see that you are busy chatting with somebody. 12 midnight, you are chatting with someone that you don't want anybody to see. You think children are stupid? You think they don't know when you run into the bathroom to pick calls? You think they don't hear when your wife is quarreling with you that who is that lady you are chatting with again? Do you think they don't understand what it means to have girlfriends? The one your mother is accusing, the one the woman is accusing the man of doing. You think they don't know the meaning of infidelity? What are these children picking from these parents of nowadays? It baffles me. It's so surprising. A boy in primary 4 is already saying that the other girl is his girlfriend. Where did he get that from? Let's ask the parents. This one of Zachariah, Allah says, وَأَتَيْنَاهُ الْحُكْمَ صَبِيًّا. His wisdom started from when he was small. Why don't you do it? Father, when you are going out, your son is there. Put him in charge. Tell him, I'm traveling. You are the one in charge of this house. Make sure that the doors are locked before you people sleep. Make sure that everybody observe their prayers on time. Make sure. The plates in the kitchen, make a roster who is supposed to wash. If you tell this child to do this thing, this is wisdom that is learning. He will grow up, he will never forget how to take care of his home and his family. Your girl is 14 years and she doesn't know how to cook. You must be a very wicked mother. Now, these are part of the wisdom we are talking about. And Allah says, وَحَنَانًا مِنْ لَدُنَّا. And was a child of kindness, a child of compassion and affection from Allah. وَزَكَاةً, and was a child of purity. وَكَانَ تَقِيًّا, and was a God-fearing child. Do you see Allah is using style to tell us the qualities we must put in our children? You would think you are reading the story of Mr. and Mrs. Zachariah. But the truth is Allah is describing what a child should be for you. Allah is making us to understand the qualities that you must ensure you test your children and you see these qualities in them of clemency, of kindness. If you were sick a day before, the second day ask your son, did you know that I was sick yesterday? The boy will say yes. But next time when you see somebody ill like that, the following day you ask, how are you feeling, mama? Now say it after me, how are you feeling, mama? Teach him, let him repeat it, let him say it. You are supposed to ask me now if I've eaten. Tell your son. You didn't ask me if I've eaten. The child said, but I just came back from school. Me too, I'm hungry. He said, no, it's not all about you alone. You must care for all of us in the home because you are going to be a man. Let the child learn to do that. If any of the siblings are sick, if it's the boy amongst them, let him know that you need to ask after your sister. And let the sister also know that she needs to be concerned about the brother. These are the terbiyat that we are supposed to learn from these stories that we are talking about, Mr. and Mrs. this, Mr. and Mrs. that. I want to challenge all of us. When we get home, let us go and read about this all over again. Let us read about this Mr. and Mrs. and read about their children and the way their children turn out to become. We have already got all of this in the Quran. Nothing has been left untouched. And as a matter of wrapping it up, don't forget Maryam. Who was the son of Maryam? Isa, son of Maryam. Maryam happened to be brought up by Zachariah. You remember? Zachariah brought Maryam up, and all of those qualities of goodness and righteousness was also put in Maryam. And Maryam gave birth to Isa, that is Jesus Christ, who also had all of those qualities you can think about. Beautiful qualities, even though his own father was not there. He was mentored by Zachariah himself. And then he was a peer, peer with Yahya. If you remember John the Baptist in the Bible, yes, that John is Yahya. And he was the one who was like an elder brother, big brother to Isa, alayhi salatu wasalam. And you can see how they all grew up in righteousness and in goodness. Accompany your children with good people. Be good also. Let good people look after your children for you. Let the peers of your children be selected by you, because child upbringing is a serious business. Now, let me mention Luqman that we all have heard about. I will not read the story to you, but you can look at it in Surah to Luqman itself. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All of the things that you need to teach a child, Allah used Luqman as an example. The way Luqman was speaking to his child, that's exactly what all of us are supposed to do. And I want us to take it very serious. Righteousness is very important. Goodness is very important. Do you remember in Surah Al-Kahf, the story about some young chaps who are fishermen? Two of them fishermen, Khidr came and broke their boat. That is the Quran talking about people who are earning livelihood. If you are earning livelihood, Allah will always protect you. Even when you think it was a loss, it's always a gain. Let your child learn that one too. Be good, be righteous, and halal livelihood. If any calamity befalls you, know that there's a reason for it. A greater reason for that matter. That story is not just ordinary. Because immediately after that story, Allah mentioned the story of the Ghulam, of a boy that was very bad and wicked. And Khidr killed that boy. And Musa was like, how will you kill a soul that didn't commit any offense? You know what Khidr said? Khidr said, this guy, his parents are righteous, but he's an evil. Let your child know that anybody that does evil will go with evil. Anybody that does what is bad, something bad will happen to them. Even when nobody can explain it. There are consequences. There are consequences of a child that is recalcitrant, a child that is oppressive to the parents. There are consequences that nobody can explain. Something someday will happen to that child. Let your children read this Surah Al-Kahf. Let them understand there are issues. And then, of course, there's another story of a boy that was told when a fence was to fall down. Remember that story? And Khidr quickly went there and asked Musa to let's fix this fence. And he said, but why? These people didn't even give us any attention when we entered into their town. Why should we help them? He said, no. Let me tell you what happened. You see, تحته كنز لهما. There are two orphans. Under this pillar, under this fence, is the treasure for those children. And they are orphans. And Allah asked me to preserve it for them, so that when they grow up, they will be able to trace this treasure to where it is, because their father was righteous. Did anybody notice that? You must have been reading Surah Al-Kahf every Friday. Their father was righteous. Do you know that our righteousness as parents will always follow our children, whether we are here or we are not here? Allah will always send some people to come and look after them. Allah will always take care of them. Allah will always take charge of them. Allah will always protect their interest. Maintain your righteousness and put it in these children, and then you leave the rest to Almighty Allah. The inheritance that was being preserved for them, it may be kanzun, that is a lot of treasure, but there was a much higher treasure for those children. That is the upbringing, the education, and the tarbiyah that they got. Parents, let us give these children both treasures of this dunya and treasures that will make them to be successful for the hereafter. The best of all the treasures are these ones that we have read now, and this one that we have heard, and this one that we want our children to inherit from us. Brothers, what do you want your boys to inherit from you? You want them to inherit the ability to beat a woman, or the ability to become grossly irresponsible? Mothers, what do you want your girls to inherit from you, apart from your hijab and your makeup kit? What else do you want them to inherit when somebody will look back and say, many years to come, people will say, yes, we know your mother. Yes, it has to be you, because we know your mother. Your mother was like this, your mother was like that. When they accused Maryam of bringing a child from somewhere, they said to her, they said, we know where you are coming from. We know people who gave birth to you. We know your parents. They were not bad people. Let people be surprised if anything happened, God forbid. But let people praise Allah whenever they see your children. This is a very serious business. It's a very serious matter. Child upbringing, people you see destroying places now, they were once children of some people. People you see committing atrocities, blackmailing people, backbiting people, children you see kidnapping people, children you see, creating baby factory, children you see breaking pipelines, children you see sabotaging the efforts of the government. They were once children of some people. Nobody knew, or maybe people knew, but they didn't take it serious that they were coming to become like this. And the children you see roaming about the street now uncatered for, in 10 or 20 years' time, they will come back to become the enemies of state. What I want to round up off with now is that I want us to change our paradigm. Don't focus on only your children. Everybody's child is your child. If you don't take necessary steps now to curb certain things, the Quran says, "Taku fitnatan la tusibanna alladhina zalamu minkum khassa." Fear one kind of fitna that will not affect only the wrongdoers amongst you. Whenever you see people doing something to be good parents for all these children that are roaming the street, please join them. Join forces with them to curb this menace that we see around us. They come in different shades and colors. Is it drugs we want to talk about, or is it other things, banditry they want to talk about? Let us all be concerned about this. We are parents and responsible for our children first. Then we are also responsible for the whole society. Let's continue to join hands and see what we can do to have a better society, because if you don't, you bring up righteous children amongst 200 other children that are going to destroy that same child, God forbid. I'm going to stop here, inshallah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think there's no need to say that everybody has benefited today from this lecture. And according to the Sheikh, if you want to raise a good child, he said what? Be righteous, be persistent, and try to be creative in the way you do it, and leave the rest, and pray to Allah to help you with the rest. And from what we have benefited today also is, don't only focus on your child. It takes a village to raise a child. So not only thinking you are fixing your own and everybody own to go to hell, because your child is going to live in the same society with those people. If your child is good and the others are bad, he gets kidnapped by those who are bad. So everybody gets repercussion from a bad society. So we are going to call on the next lecturer, and we were thinking of giving time for prayer, but I think we still really have one more lecturer. So we are thinking that we should round it up so that everybody can go and pray. Because if we now say we should go and come back, I think we might not get most of the people again, and we want everybody to benefit. So we are going to call on Aja Rafat, I think Aja Rafat, okay. Aja Rafat Salami. You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm not going to stand here because two shades here. Otherwise, it will seem as if I'm trying to be a sheikh, not yet. No, thank you, sir. I want to wait. No problem. Supposed to present last, but I did wuru, and I think we can actually end today after listening to Sheikh speaking. But since I'm already built to talk, I will just be very brief because I'll only be repeating most of what has already been said, what they have said very brilliantly. I'm looking at the theme of today, childhood trauma. We know that childhood trauma comes in different forms. Physical, it could be emotional. The trauma my child suffered, I have a child with special needs, was physical. That means even at birth, your child can suffer a trauma that will leave lifelong consequences. Trauma, this is the cycle of a human being.